What's up, y'all? Today we got a little special video today, man. We got a video that I want to get right. This is a video I want to get right because it's Cfmoto, man. Everybody's on edge on it. But yes, this is a video I want to get right because this is going to be the 1,000 mile review on the Cfmoto 675. And let's admit it, we're all skeptical about this bike, right? We all have our worries. Even if we've done our research, we all have our worries, right? So I just want to say that I might be all over the place. Let's go ahead and get started. So, first thing I want to talk about is the seating position on this bike. When I first hopped on here, I came from a Ninja 500. And if you don't know about the Ninja 500, it's similar to the Ninja 400, where it's a sport touring seating position. So it's kind of more like this, right? Here, I'm actually more leaning forward. And when I first got on this bike, I will admit, I thought it was a super sport seating position. And in my head, I was honestly just thinking, like, ain't no way, bro. Like, ain't no way people were saying that it's not a super sport seating position, right? My biggest concern was that it was going to be similar to the R7. Now, I'm not throwing any shades at the R7, but my biggest concern was that if it was going to be like the R7, where it's going to be really, really leaned over, but it didn't have that power to really deliver. Now, I'm not saying the R7 isn't fast. 700cc bike, it's pretty damn fast, whether it's only 60 or 70 horsepower. But the point is, when you're in a super sport seating position, and if the bike doesn't have that power delivery, it could sometimes leave you questioning if the seating position is correct or not. At least that's how I see it, right? I will admit, when I first rode it, or when I was breaking it in, of course I had to go slow, right? I had to go slow. I did do a few rips here and there, but I had to go slow for the most part, and it did leave me questioning the seating position. Why the heck am I so hunched over? Like, why, right? Until the post-braking period, where I was able to open it up a little more, have some fun with it. Then that's when I started understanding the seating position. I started understanding, okay, you know what? If it was more relaxed, it might be a little weird. If I was more relaxed, you know, it might be a little weird. So it makes sense for it to be kind of hunched over. Now, also keep in mind, I'm 5'2", so I am very hunched over, no matter what, right? Once I got used to the seating position, I actually found the seating position to be very comfortable. The seat is very comfortable. I can ride hours on it without my butt really hurting like that, without it hurting at all, actually. Once I got used to the seating position, I definitely really enjoy it now. In fact, I actually think I enjoy it more than my Ninja 500. I think I'm in a seating position where I feel like I'm ready to take on anything, if that makes sense. Like, I just feel ready. I feel good. My back doesn't hurt as much. My arms have gotten used to it. Now, I will say, my legs does wrap around the bike a little strange. When I was on a ZX6, I felt like my knees fell into a perfect little pocket on the ZX6R. With the Cfmoto, though, I do feel like my legs are a little bit wrapped around it rather than sitting in a little nice little comfortable pocket. My legs are more wrapped around it. Like, after a long ride, I can tell that, like, I've been, not to be sus, but I've been spreading my legs, kind of. Like, you know how when you leave your legs spread for a while, especially if you've been, you know, using it to grip the bike as well. I can usually feel that when I'm getting off the bike after a long ride or so. Now, I would say it's actually not that bad. She never even bothered me. It was just something that, like, I was able to take notice. Let's get into power delivery. Cfmoto makes a claim of 94 to 95 horsepower to the crank, right? If you watch any dyno runs, any dyno graphs and dyno graphs, you'll see that it makes about it makes about 79 horsepower to the rear wheel, and I came from a Ninja 500, so to me this is plenty of power. The power delivery of this bike is actually very, very linear. Holy shit. Yo, what the was that? Damn. But anyways, as I was saying, I actually think the power delivery of this bike is actually very linear. It's very smooth, it's very linear. There's not really any, like, dead spots. But I will say there is a little spot that feels a little luggy, if that makes sense. So somewhere around 4 to 5k RPMs. I'm gonna see if I can get you guys to show it. It's not doing it now, but if you own a Cfmoto 615, you might know what I'm talking about. At times it feels a little luggy. At times it feels a little strange, like it almost wants to go, right? And now I don't know if that's normal at all for sport bikes at all. It maybe is, but you know, I don't know. So that's just something I'm kind of putting on the reviews and know what I'm talking about. It's not terrible though. It's not like a deal breaker. It's nothing terrible. If anything, it actually might be normal. I'm not really sure. It's almost as if it basically just wants to go. Like it just feels like it wants more throttle or something like that. I don't know. Now, acceleration wise, I've never tried to do a 0 to 60 yet. I'm not a big launch guy, not really experienced with it. I would rather not try it with this bike at least. I do with my Ninja 500, but with this bike, probably not. So, you know, I can't really wheelie or none of that stuff, so I don't want to see if it can do all that. So, never tried yet. Who knows? Maybe this might be the bike to try. Top speed wise, I basically got this bike around 149 on the dash. Now, one thing I do want to mention though, I don't know if it's a Cfmoto thing or what, but I believe the speed sensor is actually on the front wheel. So if you ever watch some top speed runs about the Cfmoto 615, sometimes you'll see the dash jump or up or down. You know, sometimes you'll see it jump. I believe that's on its front wheel being a sensor. So that's just my opinion. Personally, I don't really care. What I see in the dash is what I believe I'm going. So if we ever hit 150 on the dash and it's only like 125 on the GPS, yo, we went 150. One thing I want to talk about is I see a lot of 450 SS guys talk a lot of crap about, oh, this bike ain't worth upgrading to. This bike only does 135, blah, 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 blah. My Cfmoto's 450 does 135, blah, blah, blah. But look, guys, I came from a Ninja 500 with a stage tune upgrade. So I'm talking ECU flash, full exhaust, TSC velocity sacks. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is a stock bike with a slip-on. I'll get more into that later. With a slip-on, and that power difference, oh my god, it's night and day. You could wait for the 750, but when that time comes, how its hair is going to be, blah, 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 all that stuff, it's really up to you. Me personally, I actually just love the looks of the 615. I just love the looks of it. To me, it's just a beauty, man. Like, look at the exhaust tip I got on it. I just think it looks so damn good. Just so damn good. And honestly, we don't even know when the 750 is going to come to the US anyways. It took this bike, I think, a year or two to come to the US when it was released. Keep that in mind about the 750. One thing I want to talk about is parts and accessories for this bike. I want to add this into the review. This is something that I feel is important to talk about. If you have experience for the Cfmoto 450, you will know most of the support that you will be getting for parts and accessories is from AliExpress, which is basically overseas in China. My experience from AliExpress is actually really good. They're fast on replying. They're quick to, you know, message you back. Obviously, the only issue is it's coming from overseas. Sometimes it takes a while to get your stuff. For example, most of the parts that I ordered took about 2 weeks or so. Some a little longer, some a little faster. Week and a half to maybe 3 weeks, somewhere around there. So keep that in mind as well. Now, are you a person that trusts AliExpress? Are you one of those people that just be like, nah, man, Chinese brand, blah, blah, blah. Chinese parts, no good, blah, blah, blah. Even though the majority of our stuff here in the US, it says made in China. Just know and understand that most of the parts and accessories that you will be getting will be coming from China. Even when you order from like Amazon, it'll be mostly from China. It'll take about a week and a half or two or something. Now, you might be able to find some parts and all that stuff, but other than that,
man, that shit's nice.
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
What's up?
What's up?
Oh, shit.
Real quick.
Yeah, dude, go for it, man. Oh, let me get out your way.
Just, oh my god, it's just so aggressive. Like, that's great. You see just a bunch of kids that look around 15, 16 pull in here.
Yeah?
I mean, we probably have some beers if you want to join.
Yeah, man, for sure, bro.
That's awesome.
Yeah, bro.
Send to my friends. Alright, have a great day, man.
Alright, bro. You too, man. Oh! Anyways, y'all, enough of that shenanigans. Let's get back to the video. We ain't going back there no more. as I was talking about AliExpress parts and accessories, for the most part, that's where you're going to be getting most of your parts. Stuff you'll be ordering online, as I've mentioned, on Amazon. It'll probably come from China. Now, the pros, this bike is really well supported in China. You're going to find lots of parts. You're going to find a lot of stuff for it. And from my experience, the parts are actually really good quality as well. So it's not like some cheap stuff. If you actually search up a lot of stuff online, you'll find out a lot of people actually turn this almost to like a S1K replica. Like literally, like they got some bikes out there that they got some mods out there that makes this bike look just like an S1000 double R. Let's go and talk about reliability, quality issues, all that stuff. I actually don't have much issues with this bike. There was a major oil burn issue, but the claim is you have a bike that's made after like February something or something like that, then you shouldn't have any oil consumption, oil burn issues. I've checked and my bike is actually made in March. I think I did get just a tad small oil burn, but honestly, I'm not even sure if it's an oil burn or if I didn't measure my, if I put my bike on a stand and the ground wasn't even or something, just all that stuff. But I did top it off. Small little difference, and I did top it off, and it actually turned out ever since then, okay, it's been good ever since. Other than that, I actually don't have much quality issues with this bike. Aside from, like I said, the motor that feels a little luggy around 4 to 5k RPMs. If you hold it there at like 4 or 5k RPMs, it feels a little bit luggy. I am in one of the Cfmoto 615 Facebook groups. There was a guy whose fourth gear actually, I think, shattered, or one of his gears actually shattered. He was also popping wheelies like crazy and all that stuff. So I'm not really quite sure how you guys want to take that. Now, I'm not saying that means you can't pop wheelies. No, I've seen videos of people popping wheelies on these bikes just fine, but you never really know how well people take care of their own bikes unless it's you, right? I could be here saying, I don't do none of that stuff. I don't do no top speed runs. I don't do none. I don't red line. I can say all that stuff, and yet, of course, I do. Take the information with how you guys want to take it, but other than that, I've never heard much quality issues about this bike. I don't have any quality issues, and personally, I've been enjoying this bike. And let's talk about the quick shifter. The quick shifter is hit or miss. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's clunky. I have noticed that the warmer the bike, the better it works, but not all the time. Especially first to second gear can be a little clunky sometimes. I've had moments where when I use the quick shifter from first to second gear, it'll legit just feel very clunky. But also at times I've noticed that if you're steady on the throttle around 6 to 7k, 8k RPMs or 9, 10, whatever higher, it's smooth. So for the most part, I do think it's smooth, but only if you're ringing it out. If you're not riding it hard, I recommend not using the quick shifter unless you're about 6.5 to 7k RPMs. And you're on the throttle, not going off the throttle and using a quick shift. Make sure you're going on the throttle. Now, is it the best quick shifter? Probably not. I don't think so. Like I said, I would probably put it more on the clunky side, but it works just fine. That's how I see it. It works just fine. So keep in mind that a quick shifter does not work going downwards. So it's only an upwards quick shifter. Personally, I don't really mind that because then I just rev match down anyways, and rev matching is just so... I don't know if it's me or not, but sometimes around 20 miles per hour or so, I feel like I get a random blip of throttle without me actually being the 1-2 throttle. I'm sure some of you guys have heard too that the ABS on this bike is not the best. Definitely, if there was one thing I could say is the worst thing about the Cfmoto 615, I'd probably say it's the ABS. From my experience, I noticed that I get a random blip of throttle around 20 miles per hour sometimes. When I'm in first gear, I think most of the time I'm in first gear or second gear, especially when I'm coming to a stop. If I'm coming to a stop, maybe even at 15 miles per hour, I will notice that I get a little random blip of throttle. And especially if I'm coming to a stop and I'm braking, I feel like sometimes it triggers the ABS. Don't know how to explain it. When I'm coming to a stop, the ABS would trigger, and it would be kind of weird. The ABS is going off, but it doesn't make any sense to me because I'm not braking that hard, if that makes sense. I personally think it's because of that random little throttle blip I get around and it kind of activates at the same time as you're like braking. Weird little combination the ABS isn't too happy about, so it triggers. I don't really know, just from my riding experience, that I like to point out, because I do notice that when I do pull in the clutch, when I'm braking, it's very smooth. Like there's no random blip of throttle for obvious reasons, and it's very smooth. ABS doesn't trigger. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the electronics. This bike is loaded with electronics for its price especially. Listed at $8,000 MSRP. For now at least, until maybe if tariffs hit, we'll see how that goes. Sweet little dash, TFT display dash, that shows your PSI in your tires, but for some reason, mine does not work. Well, at least the rear tire. 30 PSI in the front. I should probably put a little more in that, but my rear doesn't show. But anyways, loaded with electronics. We've got a USB-C connecting port right here. Very awesome. Where the hell is it? So we got a little USB-C port right over here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Right here. Comes with ABS, of course, traction control that can be turned on and off very easily. Let me go ahead and show you guys that. As you can see, my traction control is on. If I tap this once right here, you can see it changes over here. 2, 1, 2, 1. So, what you want to use, and then to turn it off, if you want to turn it off, all you do is hold it down. And you can see, it says off. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, that looks like a tire PSI sign. So keep that in mind and don't get thrown off. Don't freak out. That's your traction control little logo or whatever. Now, the LED lights actually point out really nice. Compared to my Ninja 500, props to Cfmoto. LED lights work fantastic. Let's talk about the weight of this bike. It's listed around 429 pounds wet. I probably shaved off a little weight on it because I put the exhaust on there. That stock exhaust is heavy as shit. That is one heavy ass stock exhaust. Now, with this bike being so heavy, I think my biggest worry was leading the bike and getting out of sketchy situations, because when I first rode a ZX6R, I've noticed how hard it was to kind of lean and turn a bike. And now I'm not saying hard as in super hard, but it takes some skill. It's almost the same weight as the Z6R. It has like the same tire ratios. And yet, for some reason, it still leans very easily. That's one thing I love about the bike. Even though it is a little bit heavier, it's actually on the lighter side of like bikes similar to this. For the most part, I'm happy with it. I'm 5'2". I am mostly all legs, not upper strength. I can support this bike pretty well. Seat height sits at around 31.9 inches. I have a 27-inch inseam. 27! Let me show you guys, man. Do not judge me, as I'm showing this for you guys, man. I have a 27-inch inseam. This is how I look with both feet down. Barely. I'm telling you guys, I'm barely both feet down. When I do just go to one leg, I'm fine. Right? When I go to one leg, I'm totally fine. I'm not worried about it. I won't even say this is actually a shorter sport bike. Although the seat can be considered high, I have noticed that my legs are a lot easier to reach down, if that makes sense. Let's go back about the exhaust. If you were to buy a slip-on, it'll still come with the full headers and everything. That stock exhaust that comes with the bike, you simply cannot just take off the tip and put a slip-on on here. If you think you're just going to be buying a slip-on and putting it on the edge over here, you're not. You're going to be installing the whole slip-on headers. So if that makes sense. Then once after that, then you can start buying slip-ons and putting it on. Once you buy that slip-on header, whatever universal pipe you get after that, it's going to be mounted the way your header is. So if you buy a slip-on header that goes all the way over here, then from now on, if you don't get new headers, that's where your slip-ons will be mounted on. Whereas for now, I got a slip-on underneath the belly, and now this is where my exhaust is going to be, unless I buy new headers. But personally for me, I actually don't mind it being right here. I actually like it right here a lot better than up there, so not bad for me. Can this bike really compete with Japanese quality bikes, considering it's a Chinese bike? I've taken off the fairings off this bike, not all of it, but for the most part, some of it. I do see some parts where they've taken shortcuts on, some parts that I feel is definitely not as high quality as what you may say a Japanese bike is. It's mostly stuff that doesn't bother me, like some bolts, or the way a bolt is mounted on, or you know, simple stuff like that. For me, it simply does not bother me. Engine wise, you know, brakes, suspensions, all that stuff, that's all premium quality. Like, that's all really good quality stuff. I don't really see anything that I would say is too sketchy to use or too sketchy to be on a bike. I think for the most part, everything on here, I would definitely say can compete with Japanese quality. To really wrap it up, you know, I actually have no regrets buying this bike. In fact, I'm actually really glad I did. I love that it comes with a steering dampener. I love that little peace of mind. Now, I'm not saying that nothing can ever happen now, but I'm saying it's just really nice to know that, like, that's a great, it's just nice to know that it comes with a steering dampener, especially for an $8,000 bike. Yeah, thank you all for watching, man. Thank you all for the support. It's been a pleasure, man. I'm sorry that this year I haven't really been uploading, but compared to last year I was uploading like every day, like 2 videos per week, and this year it's been kind of rough, been kind of busy. Weather sucks, but I think everything's clearing up. Schedule is opening up a little more. Hopefully get some more riding videos, some more shorts out there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know how things are going with your Cfmoto 615. Let me know, you guys plan to buy one? Because shoot, if you guys are not, I'm telling you guys are missing out, man. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's cfsale.451. And for now, we out here, boys. Peace.